Water is an essential part of life. The earth has limited amount of water. However, water is continually recycled in a process called the water cycle. It is made up of four main parts: precipitation, infiltration, evaporation, and condensation. To begin with, precipitation occurs when so much water has formed that the air cannot hold it any longer. The clouds become heavier, and as a result, water falls back to the earth in the form of rain, hail, sleet, or snow. When water falls back to the earth as precipitation, it may fall back into the oceans, lakes, or rivers, or it may end up on land. When it ends up on land, it soaks into the earth and is stored as groundwater. This process is called infiltration. Evaporation is when the sun heats up water in rivers, lakes, or oceans and turns it into vapor or steam. The water vapor or steam leaves the river, lake, or ocean and goes into the air. This stage is called evaporation. The water vapor cools and this leads to clouds forming. However, the clouds are unable to hold the water vapor for long. As a result, rain droplets form and it starts to rain. This process is called condensation. Eventually, the water cycle begins again. What is explanation text? Well, the text often tells you about how something works or why something happens. It is non-fiction text to explain something. To explain nature phenomenon, social phenomenon, culture, or just to tell about things around us. Sometimes it comes with picture that come along with the text. So, where do we find the text? Nature educational books such as biology and physics, social educational books such as history and geography, or pamphlet, or we can also find it in articles in the internet. What's the purpose? Well, the purpose of this kind of text is to give information to readers. As the title, the main function is to explain common questions that people frequently ask. To educate. As the previous text above, the text is used to explain people about how rain formed. Here are the types of explanation text. Sequential. This is the detail in the stage in an event. Next one is causal. It details what causes the change from one stage to the next. Theoretical. Details the possible phenomena behind the natural or created process that is not fully understood. Vectorial and consequential. Explain effects and outcomes of process. What's the similarities between explanation text and procedure text? Well, there are some differences between these texts. The similarities for the first is both explain a process. Both have sequential form, step by step, using standard language. Then we can see the difference on the generic structure of explanation text itself. For the first, general statement. It is simply introduce the subject that involved on the text. Explanation. After the opening paragraph, on the next paragraph explain how something works or happens. Conclusion. It is a closing statement that performs a comment, opinion, theoretic side of the text that already explained before. We can also see the difference on the language features. Use generalized non-human participants. For example, water, kite, frog, flood, and etc. Use chronological conjunctions and cause effect. For example, first, then, following, finally, if then, so, as a consequence, since, therefore, after that, because, after, eventually, or so, the consequences, and etc. Use action verbs. For example, run, jump, think, kick, and etc. The next is use passive voice. Passive voice is used to explain a thing that being acted by something, not acted by itself. For example, next, the beans are fermented for about a week, dried in the sun. The last one is use present tense. For example, the chocolate makers work by roasting the beans to bring out the flour. This is the end. Hopefully, you will learn something from this video. Thank you and see you on the next video. Goodbye.